It's Fight Night on talkSPORT. I'm Adam Catterall. Alongside me tonight, the one, the only, Mr. Denzel Bentley. I'll introduce you to him in a minute. We've got lots coming up on the show. We're going to talk about Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury for 2026. Going to get your opinions on it. Are you bothered? 03717 22 3344. We'll also get stuck into everything that's happening this week in Miami. talkSPORT are going to be on the ground, getting you closer to that. I don't want to describe it as a fight, but you kind of get where I'm going as Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua meet. We'll also get stuck into everything that's happened this evening in the world of MMA, as our man Lewis Thompson is out and about in Leon. If you want to get involved with the show, you're more than welcome to do so. 03717 22 3344. This is Fight Night on talkSPORT. Now then, let me introduce you to this man. Not once, not twice, but 3 times he has picked up the British title. Europeans along the way as well. And hopefully, if these sanctioning bodies get their act together, he'll be challenging for a world title in 2026. Denzel Bentley, how are you, mate?
I'm all good, thanks, man. Yourself?
I'm good. Doing more presenting than fighting at the moment, pal.
Yeah, I know, man. It's crazy. You know, I picked up a new career.
Listen, what an odd 2025 it has been for you. Just to remind people that are listening, this time last year, or just a tiny little bit more, 7th of December, wasn't it, last year?
Yeah.
You had that showdown with Brad Ray and picked up the British title once again. Obviously, part of that was picking up the European title. Sensational performance. And it felt like 2025 was going to be the year where it was all going to properly kick off. But it seems to be quite a lot of stop-start through none of your own fault. Lots of politics getting involved. Purse bids here, purse bids there. Fights getting cold. Fights not happening. Frustrating time?
Yeah, man, very. I mean, like I said, I've been in the gym from the top of the year just because I thought December, my Christmas out the way. January, get in the gym, you never know when you can get the call up for whatever it is. I mean, at the time, Frank had promised a world title fight for the winner. And then I felt like, okay, cool. 2025 is going to be a, interesting year. It's going to be a busy year. It's going to be an active year. Been the total opposite. It hasn't been anything. So I've been in the gym still all year, 12-month camp straight, if I can say that. But no fight yet. Like you said, purse bids here, purse bids there. Deal's been agreed. Opponents are just backtracking, and then we've just had to get something else done. So now we're just waiting on the date for this same fight that we've been trying to get 3 times before.
I'm going to pick your brains in around about half an hour on this because there's a lot happened actually in your division, especially with the former foe of yours, Mr. Janibek.
Yeah.
He's been in the news a lot recently, hasn't he? We'll be speaking about him in about half an hour, so make sure you stick around. But first and foremost, mate, let's start with I suppose, the big story of the week. And it only dropped in the last 24 hours. Obviously, this week we know that Miami's the destination for Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, right? Make of that whatever you will. We will speak about it a little bit later on in the show. But yesterday, the Ring magazine reported that Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua have agreed to meet on a Riyadh season card at some point in 2026. Before it, they will make appearances on a Riyadh season card in separate fights, i.e. tune-ups of both of those guys before they meet each other later on in the year. Expected around about the autumn time of next year. What did you make of that? The news when that dropped yesterday?
Finally. I mean, we just keep hearing about this.
It is one of them, isn't it?
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. I think it's long overdue. I mean, as a fan of both of these guys, I would like to have seen that fight when they were both, pretty much in their primes and were champions still. We didn't get that, but I still appreciate that we're getting it now. I mean, I think it's definitely a fight we need to see before both of them retire. Mm. With Fury, he's kind of had a legacy fight with Wilder because it was the kind of 3 of them.
Yeah.
AJ hasn't had that legacy fight because he didn't fight Wilder and he hasn't fought Fury. So I think he needs at least one of those fights just, to have on his resume, whatever the result is, just before he retires. That, I fought the best in my era at this time. I know, like, Usyk aside and all that stuff, but just the 3 that were running around at the same time. Yeah,
there's always been that conversation, hasn't there? Who is the best in Britain? Listen, these guys did incredibly well on the world scene. You mentioned the Wilder fights for Fury. He was sensational. Obviously, the Klitschko one that came before that, brilliant. Anthony's been in 13 world title fights. He's beaten some top guys. Obviously, they've both fallen short to Alexander Usyk, but there's always going to be that debate.
Yeah.
Because it felt like, and I don't know whether this was promoter stimulated, Matchroom and Queensberry obviously representing both of these guys separately. It feels a bit football tribalism with these two. Like, for me as a boxing fan, I like watching boxing.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily, you know what I mean, support a particular fighter. I
Yeah.
support boxing and just enjoy watching a good fight. Whereas with these two, it feels like you're either an AJ fan or you're a Tyson Fury fan.
100%.
So it feels like that football rivalry has been going on for the best part of 10 years, but definitely, like you've just said there, maybe 5 to 6 years ago is when they were absolutely bang at it and this fight should have happened and come together. I think they kicked themselves if they never actually fought it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think they'll forgive themselves. I think the two of them would know that we will never actually know who truly was the best in Britain. I mean, people will say Fury and AJ fans will say AJ, but then you'll try and just look at their careers and see who done what and who fought more credible opponents and who won more, and that's how you try and decide who the best of Britain is. And I don't no one wants that. It's because it's a shoulda, woulda, coulda type of situation. So I think the fact that they're getting it on now, it's like whether it's 5 years later or 6 years later, wherever it is, it's okay. Finally, at least we get to see these two, settle it and see who the best in Britain is at whatever point of the career is.
I want your professional opinion now as a fighter, right? Because I've got beef with the interim bit of this. I don't think there's any need for a tune-up. I just think we've had so many self-inflicted roadblocks with this particular fight over the last 5 to 6 years. Lots of talk, not enough walk. I don't understand why you would put an extra potential banana skin in the middle of it when you're agreeing to fight. So just get it on. You're both at a very similar stage of your career. I would say that the majority of people would call it a 50-50. Maybe you would slightly sway towards one of the fighters, but it won't be massive with the sway. So it's very, very competitive at this stage of their career.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you've got to have a tune-up fight, which is a hazard in the way of making it. Can we not remember when AJ and Wilder were supposed to be...
I was going to say that as well.
Having a knock with each other on the day of reckoning. They put them on the card, but they weren't fighting each other. And then Wilder got beat off Parker and that fight went off.
Mm-hmm.
The rematch between Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. They put them on against separate guys and then both flattered to deceive. And you know what I mean? And that fight never materialised as well. I just think we're just creating an extra roadblock for a fight that everybody wants to see. Just fight. Just get it on. And
I think the point of those interim fights that they were having before they would fight each other was to kind of build the hype to fight each other for both Ryan Garcia and Haney and then AJ and Deontay Wilder. But those fights are so big, they don't need that. They don't need build-up. Just get the fights on and I promise you it will sell. People want to see these guys fight. So I think if the fight got done before the Jake Paul opportunity presented itself, I think AJ would have probably just went straight into that fight, or Fury would have went straight into that fight. But where AJ's having a tune-up, Fury probably would want one too. But I think they're both on the same sort of page. They're both coming off defeats. Yeah. The biggest ones of their career to that point. They've both been at the ring probably around the same amount of time. So I think you're right. Just get it on. For me personally, I think tune-up fights are overrated. I think unless it's like a confidence boost or you're trying to just get your confidence back. And obviously we all know like real world level fighters don't need or want confidence boosters. So, I mean, you see these guys, these fighters at the top level, we say they fight once a year, it's not enough. But then every time they step in the ring, they perform to the highest of their ability. So I don't really think tune-up fights are needed. If you're a certain caliber of fighter, I think they should just get it on. You're right. I agree with you.
People will be listening to me say that, saying, listen, they're not going to be fighting anybody of any stature, so therefore the defeat aspect won't probably come into it. And I probably agree with that, but it's not necessarily that. Anything can happen in a fight. We've seen people get cut. We've seen people get hurt. With all due respect, what if they do fight somebody of that lower standard? They're not bang up for it. They don't necessarily look amazing. Yep. They get carried for 8-9 rounds. Fans are looking at it going, oh, they're not as good as they used to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, it dilutes what it is. Right now, there's a myth around that fight.
Yeah.
Still. Yeah. So therefore, you could just chuck them in and it would be at an all-time hype. Yeah. This is obviously going to be funded by Saudi Arabia, right, in order to get these guys in the ring because of the purses that they'll probably command for it. Do you think the fight will take place in Saudi Arabia?
It'll be a shame if it does. Like, listen, I appreciate what they're doing for the sport and making these fights happen and that. But this fight needs to be on British soil, if I'm being honest. But I know obviously the money involved and everything, you probably get that if you go over there and do it in Saudi Arabia. But I think just for the history of this fight, they should let us have this one, man. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it still does a stadium, doesn't it?
That's 100,000 at Wembley easily. Breaks all records, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm interested for people listening to this. I mean, because I put something on social media a little earlier on, and the reaction was really, really mixed, where some fans were coming back saying, it's past its best. I'm not that bothered about it. But I think it's one of them fights that when you actually... I think it's because you've been told that you're going to get it for such a long period of time. People have stopped believing that it's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So I think once you see them on the top table and you see him, and you see Tyson Fury doing Tyson Fury and just having it.
Yeah.
And the responses coming back and forth, Eddie Hearn and all that type of thing, and the banter that he'll have with Frank Warren. I think absolutely people will get into the rhythm of just enjoying the nostalgia of that fight.
100%.
So I'm interested to find out, if you're listening to the show this evening, give us a ring. 03717 22 33 44. Fury, AJ. Genuinely, the question is, are you bothered? Are you bothered about that fight taking place in 2026? Do you believe it'll happen in 2026? And of course, let us know you think it's going to do it. Get in contact with the show. It's fight night on talkSPORT. I'm Adam Catterall, three-time British champion. Denzel Bentley in the studio with me. 03717 223344. Keep your calls coming in. We'll get you on the radio in a minute. But before we do, we're going to have a little bit of a nip over to Ali Pally. The darts is going right off. Mark Wilson's having a wonderful Christmas. I'll tell you something. He's got the gig of the festive season. What's going on, mate?
Hey, it's been a record-breaking night tonight. Paul Lim, 71 years old, beat Jeffrey de Graaf 3-1. He becomes the oldest player ever to win a game here. What a character he is. He sets up a dream tie with Luke Humphries, the former world champion. He beat Ted Evans 3-1. Those two met 5 years ago. Actually, Paul Lim beat him on that occasion. Vessel Nyman, performance of the night. He's averaged over a ton, beating Carol Sedlacek 3-0. And it's been a miserable night for the American. On stage right now, Alex Spellman, yet to win a leg. He's 2-0 down and 1 leg to 0 down. Not long left, I think. Gabriel Clemens in command. It's all live right now over on talkSPORT 2.
PDC World Darts Championship update on talkSPORT with Village Hotels. Hit the bullseye this Christmas with a darty party at Village. Enjoy flights of festive fun with our interactive darts lanes. Available at locations across the UK.
03717 22 33 Keep your calls coming in. I'm going to put you on the spot here, mate. Because we were talking before, weren't we, about the debate that is currently going on with fight fans. Who is the best in Britain? Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. When you answer that question, what do you look for? How do you answer it? Because I think it is a very difficult question.
It is. I mean, you can look at skill, talent, and, what other fighters produce. But then you look at the journey of the other fighters also. They both have that. So you look at skill and talent and all that stuff. Naturally, that goes to Fury. But then you look at AJ's career and forget the experience or whatever, because he's an Olympic gold medalist and all these things. But you just look at the amount of world champions he's fought, or the amount of championship fights he's had. I'm saying the amount of top 10 fighters he's fought in compared to Fury, and that all accounts. You know what I'm saying? That all accounts for the debate. Fury might have the 2 best wins in Wilder and Klitschko, but AJ has Klitschko too, probably at an older age or whatever. But he has the better resume in terms of the amount of fights he went back to back in top 10 opponents. I think it's difficult, it's tricky, but
mate, like you're saying all the things that are in my head, and this is why I don't think it's a definitive answer. That's why you have to see the fight. Yeah,
because
100%. Exactly what you've just said, right? Tyson Fury going to Dusseldorf to beat Klitschko was absolutely gigantic,
100%.
Massively. It was huge at the time.
Yeah,
and he blew the whole heavyweight division wide open. And Anthony Joshua benefited off the back of that. And you've just mentioned there, I think the second performance against Deontay Wilder is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Because, again, it was contrary to Tyson Fury's style. He was a back foot type of fighter. Yeah. I'm going to box every single time. He beat the dude up. He went and absolutely beat the dude up. So all these things, if you've lived it and you've been in the moment and been around it, maybe you add a little bit more of an emotional connection to it. But you're right to point out, listen, AJ does get some flack, but he's been in a remarkable amount of heavyweight title fights.
Yep.
He has carried British boxing for a long period of time commercially on his back, and he's delivered more often than not in those fights. Yes, he's fallen short against some top guys, but he has delivered on countless occasions. And you just pointed out there, don't underestimate getting Olympic gold medals.
Yeah, no, 100%.
On top of all this.
Exactly.
That's why when fans have that debate, oh, it's AJ or it's Tyson Fury, I don't think you can be it can't be defined just yet. You've got to put them both in the ring.
Yeah.
For them both to have a little bit of a go and see what comes out on top. Peter, how are you, mate?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Come on, can you answer the question?
Right. The question that I'm put in is if Jake Paul beats Anthony Joshua, then does he get a crack? I mean, it sounds outrageous, but if he does that, does he get a crack at Fury?
Mate, right, I don't know where to go here, right? First and foremost, what do you make of that fight next week, Peter?
Well, it on paper, it looks like a total mismatch.
Yeah.
And probably it'll be over in one round. But in boxing, everybody's got a puncher's chance. So you just don't know.
I do know. The thing is, listen, we know why we're there next week. It's purely a commercial exercise. There's a lot of money on the table. There's a lot of eyeballs. And unlike you, Pete, who knows what they're talking about, there's a lot of people out there that casually dip into this sport that genuinely believe that a fella off the street can do the heavyweight champion of the world, or the former heavyweight champion of the world in this particular case. I don't see that. And listen, I'm more than prepared to come back on the radio next Saturday after this thing on Friday night if Jake Paul is successful and say, listen, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Wow, The kid off the Disney Channel did what I just did not fathom coming forward. But if that does take place, mate, something really, really freaky for me has to happen. Anthony Joshua goes in there next Friday and he absolutely takes care of Jake Paul in quick fashion, as you've just alluded to. I think as well, I don't know where you're at, Pete, on this, but the news yesterday of the carrot of a Tyson Fury fight being dangled for Anthony Joshua, it's even worse now for Jake Paul. There cannot be absolutely... He has to be super, super impressive. He had to be impressive anyway next week and go and do what we all expect him to do. But now he's got to absolutely blow this dude away in order to create the excitement and the hype and pump that back towards this fight that we hopefully get in 2026.
Yeah, I mean, if Jake Paul manages to get through the first round and gets any further than one round, that is an embarrassment for Joshua.
Me and you were talking about this, weren't we, Denzel, before the show started. I don't mind him letting him have one round.
Yeah.
Just, feed a jab out, let Jake Paul do a little bit, have a little bit of a laugh with him, but second round, he's got to nail him.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yeah, definitely.
Will you be watching it?
Yeah, I'll definitely be watching it. But, I mean, it's such a hilarious matchup. I think it's going to get a lot of watches, a lot of people tuning in.
Mate, it'll be the most watched fight this year, I think. Firstly, just to let you go, on the Fury-AJ situation, how do you see it? Yep. Firstly, do you see it happening?
Yeah, I think it will happen, and I think that Fury will take him out.
You think Fury will take AJ out? There you go.
Oh, wow.
Nice one, Pete. Thanks for getting involved with the show. I can understand that. I can understand because I think more people have been impressed with the signature wins of Tyson Fury than they have with the signature wins of Anthony Joshua. But I just think sometimes styles make fights. That's the phrase, isn't it? And I can see it being a really brilliant fight. Yeah, I can see Anthony Joshua hurting Fury. But what we've seen time and time again with Fury is that, mate, you've got to nail him down, haven't you? You know what I mean? And nobody's done that. Nobody's nailed him down. I mean, Usyk's beaten him on points, hasn't he? When he has been chinned off a very heavy hitter in Deontay Wilder, dude's back up. Yeah. He's a very hard guy to put away.
He is. And like you said, that knockdown was crazy. I remember turning around from the screen saying, oh my days, Wilder done it. I turned back around and the fight was still going. I was like, is this a replay? I didn't know what had happened. I swear. It was crazy, but he's a hard man to nail down. He's tough. I mean, I think it'll be an exciting fight. I think I couldn't call the winner. I think it'll be back and forth.
Do you think it'll live as a fight? Do you think it'll live up to our expectations?
100%.
Do you?
Just because of what it means.
Right.
Whether you think these guys are past it or not, they're going to put everything on the line to try and win this fight. And I think because of that, we'll get a good fight out of it.
The only reason I asked you that question is because I was in and around Cornbrook, right? And the build-up was wicked. I was loving it. It's too late. 5 years too late. Yeah. But I'm like, yeah, man, we're finally here. This is going to be amazing. And then the fight comes up and Amir's gone. He's just nowhere to be seen.
It's a one-sided, Yeah.
I just thought we don't get that. The atmosphere was great. The build-up was great. But I just thought we'd get a competitive.
I think the difference with that fight, Kell Brook was holding that grudge against Amir.
Yeah.
And Amir didn't really hold the same grudge back because he felt like he wasn't in his league anyway.
Yeah, fair.
So he was already done. All the fights he took instead of Kell Brook was like, I can take all these fights, the Canelo fight, the Crawford fight, and still fight Kell Brook. I think after that, he was done mentally and just felt like his skill will be enough. But when it got hard, mentally, he was just like, is it worth it? I've done everything. Do you know what I mean? So
okay.
That's what I think.
But you think mentally it's different for these two?
100%. That wasn't for the best in Britain. I don't think Amir Khan cared. He'd conquered everything already. He was just going in there, my last payday, whatever happens, happens. This fight here, these guys have made, both of them are on the same page. They both achieved everything, both made all their money. And this is like just pure pride. There's like the best in Britain. Neither can afford to lose the other. I don't think anyone, the loser wouldn't sleep for days.
This is the best of each other.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Okay, we're going to get a cracker. Stick with us. We're going to get an update on where Denzel's currently at. Obviously, it's been a bit of a turbulent year, but we'll get a full update on that, and then we're going to get stuck into some other stuff that's going on in the world of boxing. Keep your calls coming in on the Fury AJ news. Let us know what you think on everything that has dropped over the last 24 hours.
Shin pads are a footballer's best friend, even if players like Jack Grealish do wear such small ones you can barely even see them. But what's the story with shin pads, and are there any rules on how big they should be? It all started with cricket, actually. Cricketers had been wearing shin pads since the 1700s. They'd been introduced not for leg protection, but instead to give batters a strategic advantage. The idea was that batters could put their leg pads in front of the wicket if they missed the ball, preventing them from being bowled out. Obviously, that all changed when the LBW rule came in, but that was the theory behind them. It was thanks to this guy that shin protection made its way over to football. Meet Samuel Widdowson. He was a cricketer and a footballer. He played for Nottingham Forest back in the late 1800s, and he wanted a way to protect his legs from nasty tackles. Apparently, he'd broken his leg in a match against Sheffield United in 1874 and wanted to stop it from happening again. Naturally, his mind drifted to his other favourite sport, where players had been wearing these pads. Story goes, Widdowson cut up his cricket pads, sewed them into his socks and popped them on before taking to the footy pitch. Ta-da! Shin pads. Like all great genius inventors, everyone took the mickey at first. To be fair, he probably looked quite stupid running around with these on. But it's thought his whole Nottingham Forest team then began wearing them from 1887, and the first known use of them in a match was in 1894, in a match between Newcastle and the then Woolwich Arsenal. Eventually, FIFA clocked on that this protection was pretty important for footballers. Multiple studies have shown wearing shin pads clearly reduces the risk of players getting lower leg injuries. And so in 1990, basically 100 years after Widdowson first put them on, shin pads were made compulsory. It became a part of Law 4 of IFAB. That's the body responsible for setting the laws of the game internationally. But the law doesn't actually specify anything about measurements of shin pads. It just says pads must be made of a suitable material and be of an appropriate size to provide reasonable protection. It's really vague, and players can get away with a lot. A lot of grassroots clubs are choosing to ban micro shin pads for obvious reasons though, especially after a 15-year-old player from Penistone Church broke his leg while wearing them. Still no change from IFAB though. That's why Grealish and co can still get away with these ones, which are no bigger than a credit card and which seem to offer little to no protection whatsoever.
I'm Adam Catterall, Denzel Bentley alongside me for a bit of Fight Night Live on talkSPORT. Still to come. We're going to welcome Amir Anderson, who is fighting on the Andrew Tate Misfits card next week. Yeah, going to talk to him in around about 15 minutes. Make sure you're sticking around for that. We're also going to be talking about TKO. Dana White tonight is at the United States of America amateur tournament looking for talent. And they've announced that they're going to be launching TKO boxing in the third week of January. I'll tell you a little bit more about how this is all going to shape up in about half an hour from now. If you want to get involved, you can. 03717 22 33 It's Fight Night on talkSPORT. Right, let's get back to you, mate. The 2025, no action in the ring. And I know that it's obviously not through your own fault. You've not been injured or anything like that. You've been working away behind the scenes, waiting for the politics of boxing to fall into line and to get you out and about. Like I said, at the start of December in 2024, you beat Brad Pauls to become British and European champion, of which then set up that eliminator, which the WBO ordered on several occasions. Purse bids here, there and everywhere. They kept falling through and what have you. What is the situation at the moment with Endre Saavedra, who was the other half of that eliminator for the WBO title?
Yeah, I mean, to the best of my knowledge, I think they've now agreed a deal to, put that fight on over here in the UK. We're just waiting on a date and then a venue to kind of solidify it and finally get it done. But I think they've finally come to the agreement of whatever they're being offered by Frank and Queensberry. So hopefully the earlier part of next year, we get to have that fight.
So they've done the deal away from the purse bids? Because the purse has been called about 3 or 4 times, hasn't it?
Yeah. Because they come to a deal and then they backtracked, and then they come to deal and they backtracked, and then they went to the WO to discuss whatever it is they needed to. Then they had the WO convention, and they went over there to discuss what they needed to discuss. Purse bids got pushed back again, and then I think they finally agreed to just, come to an agreement with whatever is being offered to them. It's confusing, and it's out of my power. So anything that's out of my control, I try not to take interest in or care. But when it's affecting things, sometimes I do contact my manager, like, okay, what's going on here and that. They explain it to me briefly, and then that's what I get to go back home with, and that's what I got to deal with, innit? Yeah,
but there's loads of aspects of this that I just wanted to highlight for people listening. First and foremost, right, you're out the ring for a year.
Yeah.
You must have some good sponsors, mate, to keep the food on the table and the bills getting paid.
And I'm just good at saving, man, because I ain't got as many sponsors as people think. If I'll be honest, just got that one that.
Yeah, but you're out the ring, so you're not actually earning money from fighting.
No, I'm not. These like commentary gigs and punditry gigs have actually kept me afloat a little bit. So, I'm happy. I'm good at talking. So yeah, that's kind of helped me out through the year. But in terms of actual fighting, I haven't earned nothing through fighting. My career's on pause. The last thing I've done was still a year ago.
Yeah.
In terms of my progression, but yeah, that's just where we are, man. That's just what I've got to deal with. And
it seems to me, and I've had this conversation a few times with fighters. You're 30 now, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're in that prime zone.
The business end of my career, I like to say, with no business.
I'm sure there'll be many more years to come. But when we're talking prime, to be able to achieve the things that you've got dreams of being able to achieve, right now is the key time. That's 12 months out.
Crazy.
As a prime fighter.
Crazy.
It seems to me that the further up this food chain that you get, the more successful that you become, the business grabs hold of you and halts. You would think it would be the other way around.
Yeah.
You would think it would be more difficult right at the start of your career to get your opportunities in order to get to where you need to get to. Once you achieve some stuff and get a target on your back and get yourself to a certain level, you'd think that the opportunities would be quite straightforward to happen.
That's what you think. It's crazy because I've never been this inactive in my whole career. I've always been active. I always had like 2-3 fights every year in my career. And when I was coming through on small shows, whatever, I dreamed to be in this position. I just couldn't imagine what it would be like to be in this position. I felt like once I get there, that's it. Like the world's my oyster, everything would just fall in line. I'd get the fights that I want and whatever and whatnot. But it just hasn't been that. It's crazy. It's mad because people don't realize even at this level, you still struggle.
Yeah.
And it's mad because obviously everyone thinks, oh yeah, no, he'll get a fight here and there. Oh, no one wants to fight you. It's just not the fact that no one wants to fight me. I'm sure there's fights like that I can get. I've vacated all my titles because I had mandatories put on me, and obviously I felt like I was going for the world title, so there was no need to fight the mandatories for the British or the European in order to, because I've got a world title fight. Why would I want to defend that? So you let go of that, and now you're just stuck in the middle of conversations like, okay, we're trying to get this done, we're trying to get that done, but the other side's got to cooperate, essentially. I'm doing my side. I'm doing my part, on my side, but it takes two to tango, innit?
So, off the back of the win last year, we get the WBO put you in a position where, right, you're going to get called for this eliminator.
Yeah.
Win that, then you're in for the world title fight.
Yeah.
Okay. As you've just mentioned there, you were the British and European title holder. I bang on that there's far too many belts in this game at times, but British titles, European titles, world proper titles.
Yeah.
There's some proper substance there. They're very difficult things to go and win.
Yeah.
So you have now obviously vacated the British.
Yep.
And the European.
Yeah.
Because in the back of your head you're thinking, well, hang on a minute, they've told me that I'm going to be fighting for this world title at some point.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there were opportunities there to get fights in and earn money defending those two particular titles, but because you were waiting for the bigger cherry, let's just say, they've now been reneged and pushed away as well.
Yeah, and
hard-earned titles. We're not talking Mickey Mouse things. It's very difficult to win a British title.
100%. And I had to go there, obviously coming off the back of whatever I came off the year before, and earn my way back into this. I had to boot the door down, fight these fights or whatever, and really make noise to get back to that position. And I just feel like I worked so hard last year to get into the position I'm in now. And even though I haven't lost the position, I feel like commercially my name is just kind of slowly just drifting away this year. Like no one's heard from me this year. No one's No one's asked to speak to me. No one's asked about me or whatever. And the few that have, I'll probably turn down because it's later in the year and it's like, oh, what's going on? I'm like, I don't really want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But earlier in the year, it was like, okay, no, we just wait till something comes up. So I just feel like I've just been behind the scenes, like just training and doing a bit of commentary work and punditry work. But I'm waiting I want to fight. I want to be active. People are doing interviews with people and they're not mentioning, okay, so like they might do a interview with someone from Queensbury and then ask about all the other fighters, but no one cares about what's going on with Denzel. You want to ask me personally, instead of the guys that got control of these things. You know what I'm trying to say? And I'm not saying to point them out in it, but it would be nice to hear my name in an interview. Like, oh, what's going on with Denzel? And hearing someone explain, even though I know what's going on, it's just be nice to hear that. But my name's slowly just been, pushed to the back. But like I said, my position isn't lost. So it's not like, okay, it's the end of the world. It's just trying to get my opponent to play his part because I'm playing mine.
Even more frustrating with what has happened to one of the champions in your division this year, a guy that you've obviously fought previously in Yannick Bekele-Makuli. Now, for those that don't know too much about that, you put your hand up very late in the day in order to fight Anna McCooley and just went, go on then, I'll have a little bit of a crack at the guy. And I think most people would conclude, and I'm not just saying this because he sat in the studio with me, he's probably been his most toughest title defence, definitely.
Yeah.
I haven't watched every single fight that he's ever had, but all his title defences I most certainly have, and it's the one that he has been pushed to the limit, even on short notice. How does it make you feel then when you find out that he's failed a performance-enhancing drug test this year?
It's crazy. It's crazy because, I don't know, I've made it quite public before, like we didn't get tested for that fight. And obviously I'm not expecting anyone to be taking anything because I'm not, so I'm not thinking of it like that anyway. But then when you get popped now, it's like, okay, if you are on PEDs, this wasn't your first time. You've been taking it, but how long have you been taking this stuff for? Do you know what I'm trying to say? But I think it's quite expensive to get fighters tested throughout the camps. And I know, putting up the money is a lot. But I feel like because this fight was so big and it could afford the testing, that's why they put it through. Every other fight probably didn't warrant testing because it was like, is the opponent big enough or whatever the reason is. So we just didn't go through that process. And this is the time he has been tested and he's failed.
This is the thing that I try to highlight all the time regarding performance enhancing. Just because someone's got caught for the first time, it's not necessarily the first time that they've actually been doing it. You've got to be very unlucky to get caught the very first time that you do something. It's like driving a car, right?
Yeah.
And exceeding the speed limit. Yeah? You get caught. Was it the first time that you've ever done this? Well, I've done it about 5 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of the same situation. So it must be, from your point of view, mate, especially being on the sidelines with everything that's going on, waiting for the eliminator, having the champion that you fought previously, short notice, pushed him all the way, then find out that he's been popped, then just the mess in and around the sanctioning body's attitudes towards this scenario. As it stands right now, he's still the WBO belt holder. I know there's an investigation going on, but he's still the WBO and IBF belt holder in your division.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because for me personally, I know, look, I don't call the rules or anything, but I think boxing needs to be a little more stricter with their rules and stuff because either way, whatever happens in that investigation, the first thing that should happen is strict liability. You get stripped until further notice. Let the belt be active. Let everyone that's worked hard around to do what they need to do, compete for the belts and stuff. If you come back, you're innocent and we've proved that, okay, something went wrong somewhere or was wherever it was, you get the first shot and you get the first crack at the next champion who's won it.
Agree.
And I think that's fair. But for you to hold it up and hold up the division, because now, even if it was me or my opponent, whoever it is, we might be like, no, let's just wait to see what happens with this. If he gets stripped, then we could, instead of an eliminator, it could be for whatever. That holds us back until that investigation is done. And who knows how long that investigation could take. So that's holding up everybody because my opponent might say, or I might say to my opponent, no, I don't want to fight for an eliminator when I know there's a chance I could fight you for the actual world title. And then that pushes the fight back another couple of months. I've already been inactive 12 months. I mean, that's enough for me. I want to get active as soon as possible. But this situation doesn't help that. So I just think strict liability should still be a thing. I mean, you have to be responsible for whatever's going in your body. You take a time out and prove whatever's going on. And if you can prove your innocence, you get the first crack at, the next champion.
I could not agree more with you. It winds me up that just how slack sanctioning bodies and people that run the game are towards performance-enhancing drugs. People still think, like when I have conversations with them, they don't do anything. Well, if they don't do anything, why are they on the ban list? They do something. They're called performance-enhancing drugs for a particular reason. Now, people come at me and they say, don't make you a better fighter. No, but what they do is they allow you to be a better fighter for longer, is what they do. So therefore, when you're supposed to be knackered in round 8, 9 and 10, you're still being able to do the things that you were doing in rounds 1, 2 and 3 when your opponent is blowing out the backside. That is the point. The attitudes towards performance-enhancing drugs absolutely needs to change. And I think what you've just said there is the right way that sanctioning bodies should be attacking this particular scenario. When a champion fails a test, that championship belt becomes vacant straight away. And therefore, your number 2 and your number 3 fight for that belt. And when the champion is sorted, if it's innocence or anything like that, then cool, they can come back and get first dibs. But if there's a ban, get to the back of the queue, man.
Yeah, exactly.
You've broke our rules and what have you. You're not upholding the championship status. Get to the back of the queue and earn your right to come back again.
100%. And I feel like if everyone was more stricter, everyone would be more careful with what they're doing. Everyone feels like they can get away with everything. Contamination is, the first thing they say and this and that. But no one can prove where the contaminations come from. No one can prove. If there's a flaw in the testing agencies, then you might as well cancel all testing, because every time someone fails a test, the testing agency's fault.
Yeah.
Oh, they've done something that whatever.
Yeah.
Just scrap it then, because clearly it's not working for anyone. And if you can prove this happened along the way for you to whatever have been to your test to be contaminated and it was from this and from that, then that's fair. But at the end of the day, strict liability, you have to be aware of what's going on in your body, because I have to be aware of what's going on in my body for my own health and safety. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm preparing for a fight. I need to make sure I'm, taking the right things for me to be, as physically strong as possible without breaking the rules. So if you don't know what's going on in your body and you're just allowing someone to feed you some stuff or whatever, that's on you. That's you being irresponsible. You have to pay the consequences for that. And maybe next time you just straighten up. And if it is a bit of, it wasn't your fault and you can prove that, listen, you could take it 6 months, but at the end of the day, there needs to be some consequences for your actions. Otherwise, you just keep doing it. If I keep nicking sweets out of the shop and nothing happens to me, don't do it again, I'm going to keep doing it. But if I nick the sweets out of shops and then I get the police come knocking and I get nicked, I'm like, you know what, I ain't got time, I don't want to go back to the cells. I might think about my actions, you know what I mean? But if there's no consequences for your actions, who's going to care? Ryan Garcia done it with Devin Haney, and back to your point, people said it didn't make him a better fighter, or he still didn't dodge them left hooks. Well, maybe them left hooks coming faster than usual and a little bit more popping them than usual, you know what I mean? And as the fight went on, when it should have been slowing down, he's still hitting me like it's the first round. It just makes you better for longer. So, I don't know. Like you said, that's why they're called performance enhancing. Otherwise, they wouldn't be called that.
You're speaking a lot of sense, mate. Stick with us. We're going to be speaking to Amir Anderson next. Don't be going anywhere. You're listening to Fight Night on talkSPORT. I'm Adam Catterall. Denzel Bentley speaking an awful amount of sense in the studio. Joining me for a bit of co-presentation tonight. Fingers crossed in the new year he'll be out and about doing his thing in the boxing ring once again. We've got a guest coming up in a minute, but before we do that, earlier this week you might have seen Vidal Riley joining the White and Jordan show to explain why he decided to join Misfits Pro.
I was blessed to have a offer from everyone when I left Boxer, when I was declared a free agent, and that includes MVP as well. So there was a lot to think about. I sat down, I spoke to my team, spoke to my management. We're thinking about what the next best move is for me, not for people or what people want to see. And when I got, the call about MF Pro, my initial reaction was, no, I'm not doing that. Like I've said what I want to do. I want to have a traditional path. I don't want to be associated with that community. I've said all those things. And they said, right, this is going to be a pro division. This is going to be cards that are only pros. You will still be able to do everything that you said you're going to set out to do, but just combine where majority of your following comes from and fight under that banner. So for me, it made sense because I can make the content that I make and have it appreciated by the community that have chosen to follow me, and also still fight my mandatory, still have purse bids, still do all the things that, the road to a world title looks like.
Interesting decision, this from Vidal Riley, because he was flying. I thought he was one of the main guys at Boxer, of course, and they've just flipped over to the BBC. I saw him do a couple of interviews this week where he said he didn't want to fight on the BBC because it didn't align with all the things that he was just speaking to there. Obviously, he caters with the content that he makes for a very young demographic, and maybe the BBC is a little bit more of an older demographic, so therefore there wasn't an alignment. Interesting that he's taken this particular path because he wouldn't have been short of offers. He's doing really well at the moment and pushing himself into some really prominent positions with the ranking bodies.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I do believe him when he said he got offers from everybody. Like he said, he does very well. He's got a big following on YouTube, Instagram, all over social media and stuff like that. But essentially, like he was saying, he came up, he got his buzz and his fan base from YouTube. When he first came up, He was coaching KSI. So a lot of his fan base come from that kind of community. So for him to go back there and kind of try and merge the two, I think is the best decision for him to make. I don't think it works for everyone, but it works for him just because of where his fan base come from. It'll be easier for them to access his fights, easier for them to see what's going on with his career, and it can probably bring, a new set of eyes to real boxing without being disrespectful to whatever they do. Yeah,
it is going to be interesting to see how this merges because we're going to speak to a young gentleman who's actually on a card next week, and there is it's a bit of a hybrid because you've got fights on there that are classed as Misfits fights, and then you've got fights on there, which is one of his fights, that is a Misfits Pro fights. The young gentleman in question is Amir Anderson. Amir, welcome to the show, mate.
How you doing?
Very well indeed, my man. And I suppose what we've just been listening to with Vidal, I'm kind of going to throw this back your way as well, because you had a decent amateur career. You're already 5-0 as a pro, right. And now you're making that move as well into Misfits Pro. Talk to me about the mentality of working with Misfits on a pro card, especially the card that you're involved with next weekend.
It was kind of different. My little backstory, I'm a 10-time national champion, international gold medalist. When I signed a contract with Misfits, I was talking, like Vidal, I was talking to everybody, Top Rank, Premier Boxing, Matchroom, all the traditional boxing promotions. And Misfits, they came to us, and at first we didn't have interest because, there was more of a gimmick. It wasn't like actual traditional boxing because I won a world title. And but it was like, no, you're going to be a pro fighter. You're just going to be fighting under the cards of influencers. So it's kind of like, okay, I see where you're going, trying to get to say clout from the influencer side, but still doing traditional boxing. Now my mental on it is like, I like to be a fan pleasing person, not to be like that. I want to please the people. No, I like to entertain. So, I took a new approach of posting more content, and just, you know, being myself. As when I was in the amateurs, I wasn't really like myself. I was just this kid that's trying to go to the Olympics. So, but yeah, the tradition, the transition has been good to the pros, and you know, I like Misfits. I love Misfits. I love the team. Shout out to Mams. Shout out to KSI, and I think we have including Vidal, we're going to be one of the best promotional companies now.
Listening to you speak, listen, I'm an old man, right? Amir, and I know that you're 20 years of age, so therefore, obviously, we're different generations. But listening to you speak there, you're obviously switched on with new demographics, new audiences, and how important it is. And I'm sure Denzel's got a massive opinion on this, no doubt. How important it is to grow profile in this game in order to get yourself to the level that you're talking about there. You'd be just talking about trying to hit world titles and stuff like that. I'm sat in the studio with a fighter here that's on the cusp of fighting for a world title, but politics and various things get in the way. Now, I've no doubt, and this isn't meant as disrespect, Denz, if you were, you know, of a profile, let's say, of a Jake Paul or a KSI, it would have happened like that.
I agree with that 100%. I agree with that.
Yeah,
that's one thing I wish I'd done when I was a young fighter coming through, built my profile. I remember when I was younger, my brother always told me, build your profile, trust me. And I'm like, I'm not into the social media stuff. I just want to fight and go home. But I've seen the benefits of it now that I'm older, and it's not too late. But if I got onto it earlier, things would have been different for me now. So any fighter that's coming through, I always advise them, like, yo, try and build your profile. It definitely helps, like your social profile.
Yeah. Amir, is that where you're at?
Yeah, I agree with Denzel. I definitely, you know, posting content is getting your name out there, and that's what it is for me. At first, I was like, I don't know how to post. I don't know what to post. You know, and then I was like, I'm just gonna be myself, and you know, they like it, they like it. They don't, they don't, and they've been liking it, and I think that's what's been growing my platform, and what's been growing for Misfits as well. So I think I was the first risk they took for the pro division, and I think I'm the successful pig at this point. I think the reason why, like, I had to transition to, you know, making content, making my portfolio, is that people wants to watch that stuff. People want to watch how you train. People want to watch how you spar, how you what mitts, like what you do when you weight cut and all that stuff. And to boxers, quote me if I'm wrong, it doesn't seem important because, like, we here to fight. We don't care about none of this stuff. We don't care, like, getting in front of a camera, but at the end of the day, that's what the people want, you know what I mean? And that's what the attention is going to bring.
Yeah, well, that gets the people to the fight, doesn't it? Now, of course, it's important to shine when them lights are on, when it is fight time. What do you know about Joe Laws, mate? Because we know him very well here in the UK. What do you know about the fella?
I heard he's a nutcase. Yeah,
I think you've been told quite rightly there, mate. Yeah. Go, carry on.
He's I know he's a very rugged fighter. He likes to start strong and be explosive and just throw bombs, no jabs. That's why they call him the Benwell Bomber. But I got God on my side. I'm really talented. I fought very high level amateurs. Taylor Bevan is from the UK. I beat him his last amateur fight, and I think if you want to match Taylor Bevan to Joey Laws, is no comparison. You know what I mean? Taylor Bevan will stop Joey Laws in 3, and I tend to do the same December 20th.
The obviously the main event, and there'll be people listening to this that have an opinion on Andrew Tate and the things that he gets up to away from the world of boxing. But there is no mistake that there will be an awful amount of eyes tuning in next weekend for this particular event. That being said, for someone like yourself that can box, that has been through the pedigree of the amateurs and then obviously now stepped into the world of the professional game, is that in the back of your mind that there's an opportunity here to kind of steal that audience that you've just been talking about, that profile that you've just been referring to, that more mainstream audience that might not necessarily know too much about the world of boxing? When you get in the ring, there's an opportunity there for you to kind of steal the show, is what I'm referring to.
Yeah, especially with somebody like Laws to come at me and, you know, at press conference is going to be talking a lot of stuff. It's definitely going to be somewhere that I can steal the show. You know what I mean? Show them that Cashman is really skillful and he can back his talk. I keep thinking just Laws is going to be talking. He's going to be trying to get in my head, and then once fight time come, he's going to come in the first 3 rounds trying to kill me, and I'm going to be there boxing his ears off and then stopping him in the third. But with that audience, I think I can show that there's levels to boxing, and Misfits Boxing got one of the highest skilled top prospect in the world.
Love that confidence. Listen, have a wonderful week, mate. Safe flight over to the Middle East, and enjoy your time next Saturday.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome, mate. No doubt we'll be speaking again. Amir Anderson there. He's fighting Joe Laws next weekend on the Misfits card, which is headlined, obviously, by Andrew Tate. Don't be going anywhere, because we had an announcement this week from TKO. That's Dana White's company. They are starting their journey into the world of boxing in January. I'll tell you more about it next. This Saturday, 2 undefeated super middleweights Diego Pacheco and Kevin Lilly Sajoj clash for the WBC Silver and WBO International titles. Why is it said this Saturday, Osh? Tonight, mate. Tonight's going on tonight, sunshine. Joe Cordina's on the card. People are getting excited about it. Sorry, just having a little bit of a row with me. They're eyeing world titles as Mr. Pacheco and Mr. Sajjo. You can watch it on DAZN in the early hours of the morning. Make sure you check it out.
Boxing update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Sign up now at dazn.com/boxing.
Right. Let's talk Dana White and boxing, mate, right? You're smiling. Here we go. There's been loads of noise, obviously, about this, and it's been going on for a long period of time. But Turki Al-Sheikh came out earlier on this year, and he said, listen, Dana's going to be my guy. We're going to merge these two companies together, and we're going to create TKO Boxing. And there's been loads of conversations in and around it, whether it be the Muhammad Ali Act out over in the States, whether it be new belts and all this type of carry on. What have you made of it as a fighter in the game, observing that landscape? What have you made of the noises that are coming out of TKO and Dana White?
I don't know. It's a bit tricky. Like me being a fighter and then knowing boxing how I know it. At first, it's like, oh, why would someone want to come and change the game? You know what I mean? So it wasn't something I was comfortable with at first. I was like, nah, especially when you hear about, trying to change the Muhammad Ali Act and all these things. But you look at it from the outside, I see what they're trying to do. They're just trying to set up a platform that is regulated correctly and, in the proper manner, and everyone gets opportunities at this belt. But I think it will work for the next generation, because right now, as I stand here, like I would want to be a world champion with the WBO, IBF, WA, that's the history that, I've seen growing up in boxing or whatever. This TKO belt is new. As they start and as it builds, it will then build history. As it builds history, the next generation coming through will look at that and be like, oh, I want to be a TKO champion. I want to be a part of this. But as for me, for now, I got to wait to see how it plays out before I can try to gravitate to it and be like, I want to be a part of that, because how I grew up in boxing is different from what I know that to be.
Do you know something? It is so refreshing to speak to somebody that is well-read and actually listens to the full thing. Because so many people, right, just jump on and see a headline, new belt, and then they start slagging stuff off, or they think, well, it's going to be like UFC, so they then just jump on it. Hang on, take in all the information, start to try and understand the landscape of it and what it is going to look like, and then give yourself an informed opinion. I've always said, right, it's not going to disturb the landscape of boxing as it stands right now. It can't, because there's traditions. Boxing as a business, as you're experiencing yourself right now, is very, very set in its ways. For someone to come in, okay, they've got a lot of dough. There's no doubt about that. But to come in and blow all that up is going to be a very, very difficult thing to do, because nobody wants that to happen, especially the guys that are making money left, right and centre, promoters and television companies and all this type of thing. For those that missed the news this week, TKO are going to launch on the Friday night before UFC 324, which is the 24th of January for the UFC. 23rd of January is when they're going to get going for this. I've always said all along with this is going to be massive for American boxing. I think we're in a really good position here in the UK, and especially with the help and influence of Turki Al-Sheikh from Saudi Arabia. I think everything's going kind of all right. I think fight fans are being well serviced. They're getting fights that they want to see. Over in the States, though, I think it's a very different landscape, mate. I think it's, for want of a better word, I think it's dead. And I think it does need reviving. I think it needs something to shake it up. I think the UFC has absolutely captured the imagination and the eyeballs of the fight fan over in the States. And they're watching that far more than they're watching boxing. Now, obviously, that comes down to not having the fights that they want to see and not believing in certain things. Yeah. So I think TKO and what Dana White is going to do, I don't think it's going to look like anything that is currently out on the market. There's no point in trying to do what's out on the market, because that's obviously not working for the American audience. So I've always said that I don't think they'll go on Saturday nights. I think they'll use their UFC model in order to try and go weekday nights, whether it be a Wednesday or a Thursday or, in this case, a Friday.
Yeah.
And I think it will provide opportunities for those fighters that are either coming out of Olympic cycles, amateur cycles, that are looking for new promoters.
Yeah.
And making that turn into the professional game, or those that have maybe fallen away and not getting opportunities on certain televisions or connected to big promoters. I don't think it's going to appeal to the likes of the Canelos and the Terence Crawfords and these types of characters of this world. Right, It's going to be the lower guys. And what they're going to do is create a load of... It's going to be a different way of working a fighter's career. There's going to be 50-50 fights early doors. I don't think there's going to be too much stress on losses in particular. There'll be stresses on wins, but not too much stress on losses, because most people will be in proper fights. Now, the belt, I think the belt is much of a muchness. I don't think it really means too much in the grand scheme of things. But from an ecosystem point of view, I think it's going to coexist with what is currently going on over in the States. It's going to be a completely separate thing. Regarding the Muhammad Ali Act, they've said on countless occasions, we're not looking to change the Muhammad Ali Act. We are looking to create a new thing that we can operate under and create like the UFC model. So therefore they can be the promoter. They can obviously have their own belts, be their own sanctioning body, be their own matchmaker, which is obviously against the Muhammad Ali Act over in the States. The Muhammad Ali Act will still be there, and people can pick and choose whether they want to use that one or they want to use the other one.
Yeah,
all right?
Yeah, fair enough.
So I think it's a really interesting time next year because I think it's going to give a shot in the arm or a little bit of a kick up the backside to the other promoters. Because if you look at what's happened, Top Rank lost the TV deal.
Yeah, crazy.
They're not on TV over in the States. You've got Golden Boy, who are on the zone, but their deal's coming to an end, whether it gets renewed or not. I mean, what are they actually putting on? Ryan Garcia's next fight with Barrios is going to be on Amazon it's on a PBC thing. And Garcia's their golden goose. And then you've obviously got the PBC, who are on Amazon pay-per-view. And how many cards have they done this year? 5? 6? That's not servicing the American audience. Now, TKO, even though they've not even put an event on yet, they've got the biggest TV deal because it's all in under the umbrella with the WWE and, in particular, the UFC, who have just cut this deal with Paramount Plus. It all starts in January with the UFC. So think about that. Think of all the cross-promotion that they can do with all their events. So he's got slap fighting. He's got Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's got UFC, which everybody's watching, and it's on Paramount Plus. The cross-promotion. So therefore, if you tune into slap fighting, say on a Wednesday night, every 10 minutes it's going to be, don't forget I've got boxing on Friday night.
Yeah, of course.
Come back here on Friday night and watch this boxing. These young prospects come in and do their thing. Then let's say you tune in on that fight night, on the Friday night, and all you see, let's say there's only 5 fights on there, but every one of them's an absolute banger. You go, hey, this boxing's all right that Dana White's doing, man. I don't know any of the names. Don't know who they are.
Yeah.
But I like what
fights,
But they're having a scrap, man. I'll come back and watch that. When's the next one? Oh, it's the next time we do the UFC. Excellent. So now in your head, you're thinking every time there's a UFC fight week, there's going to be a boxing event that week as well.
Yeah.
That is how he grows. What I think he's going to do, and listen, people are right to point out, well, how do you create a star? How do you create the next generation of fighter? What I think he's going to do, he's going to try and make boxing the famous thing. Whatever it is, TKO, boxing. He's going to try and make boxing the famous thing. The combatants are kind of going to come and go. And, you know, he might get a young prospect for 3 fights or 4 fights. And that fighter might be someone that's absolutely mint. Turkey Al-Sheikh, who he's working with, he might go, I want him for one of my Ring magazine cards.
Okay.
And then that guy goes that way. I've always thought that Dana's going to be the feeder to whatever Turkey's doing with the Ring magazine stuff.
Yeah.
That's the threat for everybody else. The threat is what Ring magazine are going to do.
Yeah.
Because they do have a prestigious belt. They've got a belt that's over 100 years old. And you can only get one of them if you're number 1 or number 2 in the division. So if you are threatened by anything in the game, you should be threatened by... The guy set up his own feeder league with one of the best fight promoters in the world, and it's going to go direct onto his Ring magazine cards, of which he doesn't need WBC, WBO, IBF, or WBA.
Yeah, because
he's got his own belt that everybody wants a piece of.
Yeah.
So I can only see it being a really good thing entering, especially in America, because I've been over there lots recently. Nobody's talking about boxing, which is ridiculous, because in my head, when I was a kid growing up, that's where all the best boxing was.
100%.
It was always in New York. It was always in Vegas, wasn't it? You know? And it doesn't seem to be the case anymore. It's either over here or it's in Saudi Arabia. So I think it's going to be massive for America. I don't think it'll shake us up. I don't think it's going to shake us up too much. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, there might be some young British lads and girls that get an opportunity to maybe go on that Dana White Contender Series style stuff with TKO. But it's definitely not, it won't affect you, I don't think. I don't think it's going to affect any of the people that are chasing those world titles and those higher up titles in current world boxing. But I think it's an exciting thing to add to the landscape.
Yeah, no, I mean, the way you've explained it, I mean, I agree with you. But at first, when it first came, I just thought, what's all of this? You know, like, before you understand what's going on, you just feel like, okay, someone's trying to change the sport and say it's going to be better. And it's like, everyone says boxing's broken or it's dead, but it's continued for years and years. You're like, no, it's not. Like, leave it how it is. But anything that's foreign to anyone at first is going to be, wait, hold on. No, what's going on here? Don't change it. We love it the way it is. We love our messed up world of boxing, wherever this is, you know what I mean? But then looking at it from the outside, and I'm just saying, yeah, maybe, look, let's see how it goes. If it's regulated well and that, I can't complain, because that's what we need. We need a bit of regulation in the sport, especially out in the US.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a mess right now.
Yeah.
There's governing bodies for every state, or commissions for every state, rather. I mean, so no one's on the same playing field. All rules are different. That one commission accepts this, the other one accepts that. Over here in the UK, it's all the British Boxing Board of Control. They control everything, and everything's run under one commission. So if they can get that right out there and play it well, then obviously it will be a success. And anything that's good for the sport, it's good for everyone. But initially, when you're thinking about, you know, the Muhammad Ali Act and what it is and what it stands for, when there's no clarity on what's going on and what you're trying to do with it, it's not a good look. To boxers, you're like, why would you do that? And I know in the UK, the Muhammad Ali Act doesn't affect us, but whatever goes on in America, it kind of trickles down and it affects what's going on in everywhere else in the world, let's be honest, like in the UK especially. So you're looking at that and you're thinking, okay, so you want to get rid of the Muhammad Ali Act. Why is that? Is that for your own selfish, greedy gains? Like, do you want to start cutting people's money or double dipping and all these things? That's not a good look already. And he didn't care to, Dana White, I'm saying, didn't care to explain that to anyone. He felt like he didn't need to explain to anyone. I think Sean Zytel tried to ask him in the press conference with Terence Crawford and Canelo, and he just basically shut it down. And I'm like, what are you hiding? But the way you've explained it there has given me clarity. Like, okay, you're not trying to change it. You're just trying to have another side of it where you can do what you want to do with TKO, but it still stands with everything else. But you just want the TKO business to run a certain way, so you need this rule a certain way, which is fine as long as you're not trying to harm the people that are risking their lives. Perfect. But like I said, the next generation will benefit or appreciate it more than this generation we will now.
I think
in my opinion, yeah.
I think so, mate. It's going to be interesting to see how this all kicks off in January and how it affects stuff going on over in the States. We'll be keeping our eyes close on that, no doubt. Do stick with us. We've got lots still to get through, including, and I love the way that Denzel's just set this up, right? Because he's just been speaking about athletic commissions and people over in the States having rules for this and rules for that. We're going to talk about levels of drugs in a man's system and whether it is or whether it isn't allowed and whether they should be fighting next. Yeah, Subriel Matias, we're talking about you next. Don't go anywhere. Right, we're going to talk Deontay Wilder and Alexander Usyk in around about 5-10 minutes, so stick around for that. I'm sure you've been across that on talkSPORT throughout the course of the week because Deontay's featured on a couple of occasions. But I want to ask this question, and it's beautiful that I've got you in the studio, Denzel, for this, because I've no doubt you've got a massive opinion on it, given the fact that you have fought a fighter that has recently failed a performance-enhancing drug test. We've got a situation coming up in January where Dalton Smith has worked his hind legs off, he's got himself into a position, and he's been called to fight for a world title against Subriel Matias. Big opportunity for the lad. He's served his time. He's done his thing during the amateurs, pros, you name it. This is the moment for Dalton Smith. Then all of a sudden we find out that Subriel Matias has failed a performance-enhancing drug test. He's obviously got a procedure to go through, and he's gone through it, and he's had his B sample opened. Again, there's no limits before between the A and the B. But the fight is allowed to proceed in January with the champion, Subriel Matias, defending his title against Dalton Smith. And the reason for it is because the State Athletic Commission, where this fight is taking place in New York, have a particular threshold for the drug Ostarine, and Subriel Matias falls just slightly below that threshold, and therefore, under the laws of the New York State Athletic Commission, he hasn't done anything wrong. However, if this fight was taking place here in the UK, and it was a UK anti-doping test, then he would have done something wrong under the terms, as you mentioned before, strict liability. So the question I throw your way, right? And this is a difficult thing to answer because you've got hopes, dreams and ambitions of becoming world champion, right? And I'm sure that Dalton Smith shares those things with you. Should Dalton Smith fight Subriel Matias, given what we know?
Man, I mean, there's a point for both sides. I as a fighter, I'd say yes, because that's my dream. I want to be a world champion, and I don't care what he's doing. I'm going to beat him anyway. Just that ego kind of stuff, like as a fighter. But seeing as it's not me in the fight, and I can see it from the outside and use my brain, and there's no ego in it for me, I'd say no. I'd say no. I think Dalton Smith is good enough to get a world title shot again in his career, whichever governing body it may be with. I think he's that good. I think he'd win a world title at some point in his career. I don't think he needs to risk it against someone that's failed a drug test and, you know, not to be dark, but has killed someone in the ring. I mean,
for those that don't know that story, in 2019, forgive me if I've got the year wrong, I think it was 2019, Maxim Dadashev sadly lost his life off the back of a fight because of injuries sustained in a fight with Subriel Matias. That's what you're referring to there, right?
Yeah. So then I would, like, I know, you know, the commissions and everything and the WBC have allowed the fight to take place, but I think he should take a stand. Why should I, as a clean fighter, fight someone with anything in their system? I mean, I'm not a scientist or whatever, but I know your body doesn't produce Ostarine.
Yeah.
So there shouldn't be any tracing at all. For Ostarine to be in your system, you or someone must have put it there.
Yep.
So you must have taken it.
Yep.
You have trace amounts today, but yesterday or last week or last month, how much did you have in your system that was getting you through these hard camps and through these sessions and helping you push levels that you wouldn't be able to push naturally on your own to give you that unfair advantage going into this fight?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah, but Denzel, it's all contamination, mate. It's all contamination.
And that's the loophole that everyone's going for nowadays. It's all contamination. And it's like, we've got to be stricter and tighten up. It's a dangerous sport. In any other sport, I think there was a relay race with the Great Britain squad. One of the racers failed a test and the whole team got stripped of their medal.
Yeah. And they're running in a straight line, mate.
Do you know what I mean? They're just racing. Where this is a full contact sport.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you get punished more for taking recreational drugs than PEDs.
Yeah.
I mean, people have taken recreational drugs and have got a ban. No one cares.
Liam Cameron got done for cocaine, 4-year ban.
All right, then. No one cared to hear, oh, no, contamination. No, that's your own problem. Why are you taking it?
Yeah.
That does less harm or less danger to someone that's taking PEDs going into the ring.
Here's one for you, right? And I know that there were press and our team want us to go to break, but I think this is an important subject to be speaking about. The attitudes on a whole need to change.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Because I really do feel for Dalton Smith in this position, right? He's probably not even second thoughts about it because, as you've just said, he's a fighter. He wants to fight, and this is an opportunity for him to become world champion and achieve his dream. So I fully understand why he's doing this. But let's say he wanted to take a stand, right?